Hi guys, Paul and Olga here, and today we will be talking about our summer essentials, what for outdoor, for traveling, and we really hope that you will like the information that we have to share. Remember, Paul, he loves research. He does a lot of research. So he will be talking about what he have learned about using essential oils for different activities. And I will share with you a lot of my experiences, recipes, and also we have only 30 minutes. But we have information probably like for 3 hours to cover. And everyone who registered for our webinar will receive a guide with tons of recipes that we use in our family. And if you are watching a recording, please go to our website, thespiritofawildorange.com, fill the contact information, and I will send you a summer guide. Or you're just welcome to send me an email. It is goddardolga@hotmail.com. Okay, Paul, are you ready?
I'm ready.
So this is ours, Paul and I. I think it was in Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, before we go into travel, I would like to share really very fast an experience that we had in Mexico with lavender. So we were in a car traveling with our friends, and we had a kid with us. I think he was like 7 years old, right?
Yeah, I think so.
So, and he had a horrible mosquito bite on one of his hands. And so we asked his mom if we can put some lavender on him, and she said sure. So, and we also asked for how long he had it. So she said it was like about a week.
Well, she said that, he had just said they usually last 5 to 7 days, kind of a thing, that the mosquito bites become very inflamed and they just don't go away for him.
Okay, so I put essential oil on him, and we were driving maybe like for 15 or 20 minutes to see some ruins, Mayan ruins. And in like about 15 or 20 minutes, we noticed that the inflammation went down. So his mom was so impressed with this lavender essential oil. It was awesome. Okay, so let's...
So there we are in Mexico.
Yes.
I think it's really important to say that we're not here to diagnose. We're not here to treat. We're not trying to take the place of your physician. That's not our job. What we'd like to do is share with you some of our experiences and invite you to explore what can be helpful to you. And I think that can be a great opportunity for you to, just think about what will be helpful. But please, if you have any medical questions or concerns, speak to your health professional.
So let's talk a little bit about travels, and let's start with road trips. Lately I have been traveling a lot. I think in the last 4 months I probably covered about 12,000 miles by car, traveling by car, all by myself. So, and I have been using essential oils on the road. So I would like to share with you what I have used, what helped me. And I think Paul will share with you some of the research that he pulled out. So during my trip, I have been using a lot car diffuser with citrus bliss essential oil, and it actually helped awake. And I also was in a really very good mood traveling, and I didn't care if there were some not really very careful drivers on the road or okay. So I was using citrus bliss and actually balanced essential oil blend in my diffuser. Another thing that I was using peppermint. So you can see I actually have it in my car. So I use a lot of peppermint in my water. And what I also notice, I actually drink a lot of water while I'm driving. So just put peppermint or lemon essential oil in my water, or both of them together. And it is really very invigorating. It helps me to drink more water and actually make quite a few stops
Which
because
is
of
also
that.
healthy. Now you'll notice she's not being entirely honest. Of those 12,000 miles, I was with her for 1,000. Now the other 11 she did by herself, but I did get to travel with her from Washington D.C. up to Toronto. So that was really a lot of fun to just be traveling together for a little while. Now, there's a couple of things that we know. For example, AAA Foundation for Traffic Safety talk about how more than 1 in 5 of the fatal crashes involve driver fatigue. So this really, really is important if you're driving. And they talk about make sure you get enough sleep, make sure that you're driving during your normal wakeful hours. So Olga drives more during the day, and I do more at night because that's our normal wakeful hours. Make sure you stop at least every couple hours and stretch, move around, get your blood flowing, drink lots of water. It does have the advantage both of keeping your system functioning better, and then you have to stop every couple hours, so that's okay. And it's interesting because the research, for example, the University of Cincinnati, that talks about how inhaling peppermint essential oil increased mental clarity and accuracy in the student subjects. And there was some other research by a group, the researchers at the neuroscience unit of psychology, that found that rosemary essential oil really produced a significant enhancement in performance for overall memory and focus quality. So this is really some helpful stuff. And in the information that Olga can send out to you, there's also a great there'll be a great link that talks about measures and things to be aware of when you're driving. And it's important, of course, to remember you don't want to use every essential oil while you're actually driving. So, for example, lavender is often found to be very calming. So you probably wouldn't want to do that while you're driving. If you're the driver, it might be great for the mosquito bites, but probably not for the driving.
Yeah. Another thing what I wanted to mention, because not everyone have a car diffuser. So if you don't have a car diffuser, it's actually, yeah, it is handy, it is fun, but it is not required to have it. Because what you can also do, you can take your bottle of essential oil, put a couple of drops on your palm, like I do it in the picture right now, and rub both palms together and just inhale. And you will get the same effect. Another thing what you can do is just grab a cotton ball, put a couple of drops of essential oils on it, and hold it next to the air conditioner in your car.
Or you can even sometimes just put the cotton ball loosely right in the opening of the vent. Got a diffuser. And now I would use a cotton, a good quality cotton ball, because these oils, you don't want to put on like polyester or something like that. It's not as good for that. And Olga was talking about putting it in your drinking water, which is one of the things I do a lot. But I also have a glass water bottle, so having a really high quality water bottle rather than just cheap plastic, because cheap plastic is petrochemicals. So putting like citrus oils in that can actually start to break down the plastic, which petrochemicals almost by definition is sort of an impurity. So you don't want that in your body for sure.
Right. And like also if you're traveling like with kids, can't even imagine to travel with kids for 12,000 miles.
No.
So if you travel with kids, then actually using wild orange or citrus bliss essential oil blend or balance might help you, to calm them down a little bit.
Help them stay in a good mood.
Yeah.
We think about wild orange and citrus bliss as happiness in a bottle.
It's actually, we love those oils. Okay, so let's move on.
What Olga was saying is that we could take probably 5 hours to go over all of this information. We just want to give you an overview with other questions, and if there are other topics you want us to go into with more detail, let us know. We can do some more webinars and go into greater detail. We'd love to do that.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about food challenges and tummy troubles while traveling. So Paul will also talk a little bit about research. While I remember, I want to share with you a really very, very quick experience that I had in my last travel to Atlanta. I actually came to the store and bought some salad, then came into ate it, and I felt sick really very fast. So it was horrible. I felt like I got temperature and I wanted just to throw up. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't need that. And so what I used digestion essential oil blend and ginger, also essential oil. I put it in half glass of water and I drink it. Again, it helped me, but we are all different. So this is what I use when something happened with my tummy.
And I think it's really important to keep in mind with tummy trouble, there are a lot of different things that can cause that. It can be sometimes stress, it can be reaction to food, it could be virus or bacteria that's in the food, it can be parasites, heaven forbid. And so there's a lot of things that could cause that. And if you have questions, again, of course, check with a physician. And at the same time, often it's sometimes just food you're not used to or that wasn't prepared in the way that you're accustomed to. And that's where there's a lot of research that talks about how essential oils can be very helpful. And I was reading study after study after study that was talking about how oregano essential oil can be extremely helpful with parasites. And some of the researchers were talking about that it can be even more effective than some of the medicines. Now, I'm not trying to replace medicines, but it's great to have some options that are right there with you if you're getting sick. And again, we'll share with you those links so you can look at this research. One of the cautions with tummy trouble, especially if you have diarrhea, is to be very aware of the potential for becoming dehydrated. That's can become very, very dangerous. And so making sure that you're having a lot of fluid intake, using a lot of folks recommend putting some lemon essential oil to help clear this yuckiness out of your stomach. Sometimes they say don't stop the diarrhea too fast because your body's trying to get rid of some yuckiness, whether it's parasites or other things that you don't need. And that's where having, if you don't want it to get stuck there, but on the other hand, be very careful about dehydration and make sure you get some help if that's needed.
So airplane trip. We're also flying quite a bit, and some of our travels quite long. Like, for example, if we go to Russia, it might take up to 24 hours to get there. So we love using essential oils on the plane. Also, again, it's in my water, or like a calming, because there are some people who have anxiety on a plane, and I need to admit that sometimes, not really very often, but sometimes I have it also. And having those like calming oils like Roman chamomile or frankincense or balanced essential oil blend is actually really very helpful. And that's where you can use also lavender or serenity essential oil blend, to calm down, or if screaming baby right into your ears. What you can do is just open essential oil bottle and just kind of like fluff the air with it.
Yeah, we have a good friend who talks about on airplane travel when they're screaming babies, he'll put a little lavender on his hands and then wait. Now, being careful, of course, because not everybody will, may appreciate the scents. So, we're not trying to overwhelm the plane, and a little drop goes a long way. So you don't have to pour a lot. But even research shows that a little orange and lavender is reduces fear and anxiety. They did that some of the research in dentist's office, which causes almost everybody big of anxiety, unless I guess you're the dentist. I don't know. And so, if it'll calm me down in a dentist's office, and I'm known for biting dentists, unfortunately, I really don't do it on purpose. But at any rate, if it'll help there, I think it can also be helpful when you're flying. And I think that, as Olga was saying, you can put a little bit on the bottom of your feet before you travel. Or I love putting a drop of balance on each of the outside of my earlobes and rubbing gently. And I find, even no matter how stressed and tense I am, I just sort of smile. It's almost, I can't help it. And I like smiling, so that's okay.
Yeah, and actually, also what is helpful to have on a plane, because first of all, yeah, if it is like a long travel, make sure that you walk. It's that you walk, that you do some stretching on a plane, and also essential oils that can help with stretching is lemongrass or deep blue essential oil blend, or deep blue essential oil wrap, or
Hmm.
aroma touch. It's actually wonderful oils to use for your sore muscles.
And I think that the one more point that's really critical with this, when you're sitting still in your seat, your blood tends to pool, and you can, there's some risk. My mom used to have thrombosis. There's risk of clots and things like that. The doctors would always tell her, make sure you're walking and moving, same. And of course, Dr. Hill has talked about how balanced essential oil on the bottom of your feet can really help keep your blood going. So that's another great way to use the essential oils.
Um, yeah, and actually there is a research. You can probably just type on YouTube about balanced essential oil, how it
Hmm.
helps with oxygen in your blood.
And it's a fun one to see.
Yeah. So dealing with germs. Oh, this is a funny one. I'm actually one of those people who tries not to touch doors in public restrooms with my bare hands. So yeah, I will use something, I don't know, a piece of my sweater
Paper
or
towel.
paper towel or something, but I won't touch it. It's just like no way I'll touch it. So yeah, I think Paul can talk a little bit about research, and I will talk about essential oils.
Well, a lot of times when you're on a plane, you'll notice one person sneezes and another person coughs, and pretty soon, I know for me, I'm like, oh no, do I have to breathe this air? And of course, they do recirculate the air, but fortunately, the airplanes, especially many of the modern planes, they've gotten much better at filtering the air. They've gotten much better at not having the air just blow through so that everyone gets everything that comes through, but you're still in a pretty confined space, and having somebody hacking up next to me, that's not my favorite thing. And so that's one of the things where, the even knowing that the filtration systems and all on the airplanes have gotten much better, I think it's great to know that that the essential oils can help to sustain. They're very supportive of your immune system. And again, you don't use that in the place of prescribed medications and other things. But one of the things that we found over and over again is that, and you can, again, the research on things like On Guard essential oil blend for its effect on germs that are in the air. There's just lots and lots of research on that, showing some really, really amazing effectiveness on even on some pretty tough germs like MRSA. That's a tough one to kill. And so, no medical claims, but I'll tell you what, it's worth looking up, and we'll send you some links about how these essential oils in research have a tremendous effect in supporting your health.
Yeah. So as Paul mentioned, on the plane, I love to use On Guard. It's actually great to diffuse in your car also. How I use On Guard. First of all, I rub it on my hands. I rub it on my chest, and just inhale it.
Mm-hmm.
And also you can make a little, because you can't take a lot on a plane. And I take essential oils with me on a plane, and usually I take like about 10 of them in 15 milliliters bottles. And if officers ask me what it is, I'm like, it is essential oils, and yeah, that's what I use on the plane, and it helps me to. It helps me.
I think when they're screening, they've gotten used to more and more people carrying, these little bottles of essential oils. So nowadays they hardly even bat an eye.
Yeah. So yeah, I have had no problems with taking essential oils with me on the plane. So, and what you also can do, you can actually make your own natural hand sanitizer, which is actually very easy to do. Just 5 tablespoons of aloe vera gel, 4 tablespoons of water, 1.5 teaspoon vitamin E essential oil, 10 drops of this protective On Guard essential oil blend, and 5 drops of wild orange. That's it. You're ready, and just put it in a small squeezable container or spray container, and have it with you in your car or in your purse or on the plane.
And one of the things to be aware of with any of the essential oils, for example, On Guard, sometimes people have sensitive skin. And so you may want to test that. That's one of the reasons why it's great to put on the bottom of your feet if you have sensitive skin, because that's usually a little bit tougher. So you'd want to check that. And if you find that your skin's getting a little bit red or irritated, don't wash it with water. That actually activates the essential oil. That's where you'd want to use a good carrier oil, like coconut essential, or not essential oil, coconut oil or something to dilute that. And so that's something to really beware of. And one of the wonderful things is you can actually even get the On Guard in little beadlets, so that you can take those, swallow a few of those to help support your body, and which makes it so convenient and really handy when you feel a little bit of a scratchy throat or something coming on. So helpful.
So let's talk about beach and outdoor stuff.
Now I'm sort of the expert on outdoors, because I work at least a couple of days a week, and long days. We're talking. I spend many hours each week outdoors. Now, not unfortunately always at the beach, or actually seldom, but outdoors. And so that's where, again, the essential oils can be so helpful with outdoors. And I think, well, Olga can talk about some of her sensitivity to heat and outdoors. coming from far north.
Yeah, I was born and raised in Siberia, and so I actually don't used to spend a lot of time on the sun, and I hide from the sun all the time, and I also don't do heat. Yeah, I'm that snow girl.
My little snow girl one summer flew into Las Vegas, and we went to stop at a store, and we got out of the car, and she says, "Paul, I can't breathe." It was, I think, 115 degrees or something like that. And I'm like, well, yeah.
Yeah, it was horrible. But anyway, what I also use quite often, and it is very simple. I have in my car, in my purse, I have glass spray bottle with water and just a few drops of peppermint in it. And every time when I need to refresh myself, I just spray that bottle on myself. I close my eyes and I spray on myself or just in the air. And you just can smell it, this invigorating aroma of peppermint. So it's really very, very helpful. Another thing what I need to also say, while I remember that it is handy to have essential oils in your car, but when it is not so because it is good to keep oils in a cool temperature, not in a hot temperature. So I have it in my car while traveling, but I take them back in my purse when I get out of the car if it is hot summer months. So just for you to remember it.
And that's, of course, remembering that the essential oils are very, very carefully prepared, and so the really high quality, you don't want to take away any of that quality by basically cooking them when they've been so carefully prepared. And that's a good thing to be aware of. Now, Olga's mentioning putting it in a little spray bottle. I have sort of a big spray bottle that I can pump up when I'm out there. For some reason, in the summer it sure can get hot where we live, and being able to just turn on this little sprayer, pump it up, and turn this on, and the kids I work with kind of like to gather around close so that they can also enjoy the spray and a little bit of peppermint. Oh my goodness, it's so refreshing, and it feels wonderful. Now, if you're in a really, really, really humid climate, you won't get quite as much cooling from the evaporation, but the peppermint's still refreshing. So you may want to try it anyway.
Yeah, you can try it in your water. You can just inhale it from your palms. So another thing what we want to talk about is about sunscreen. Like Paul, when I came here, Paul kind of told me that you have to use sunscreen on your skin, and I just girl. I love natural stuff. I grew up with natural stuff, and sunscreen full of chemicals on myself is just my body rejects it. I just don't want to do that. And actually, right now you can find some sunscreens that don't have so much chemicals in them. And actually, yeah, if you do some research in the internet, you can find some great recipes with essential oils, with some shea butter, and you can make your own sunscreen. But what I want for Paul to do is talk a little bit about sunscreen and.
Well, that's where let me jump in there. There's a lot of different research on sunscreens and the chemicals they use in them, and there are some different groups that will look at sunscreens each year to say, okay, what do they have in them? And in one of the studies, they looked at like 2,000 different sunscreens, and they found that about 75% of them had toxic chemicals. And if you think about toxic chemicals, a lot of times I think we get careless thinking about our skin as just sort of the bag to contain our insides. And boy, we're really mistaken. Our skin is the largest organ on our body, and through perspiration and different things, an awful lot comes in and goes out through our skin. And in fact, many of you are probably aware of the medications that people can take transdermally, like a patch. You put a patch on your skin and bloodstream. So it's sort of seems to me to be very careless to assume that I can put things on my skin and they'll, particularly chemicals, and that it's going to be fine. We take medications through our skin these days, so certainly things go through the skin, and that's where the there some of the research on different things that they can put in sunscreen actually says that it promotes cancer. And so we'll give you some links, but please do research. There are sunscreens that are much more carefully formulated, much more simple. None of the fancy chemicals or heavy metals or other stuff that could help to protect your skin and help. And as Olga says, there are also some recipes that could be very protective as well.
Yeah, as we mentioned before, everyone who registered for this webinar will receive a summer recipe guide. So basically, what I put together, what I use for myself, for my family. If you are watching a recording, just again go to our website, thespiritofawildorange.com, or send me an email, goddardolga@hotmail.com, and I will send it to you. Like a few words about essential oils that I use, like being outdoor, being on the beach, whatever. So I use lavender, I use Roman chamomile, I use helichrysum, and a balanced essential oil blend. That's what I use for my skin. We went to San Diego. I think it was like August, and I got sunburn. I wasn't on the sun, and I got sunburn, and horrible sunburn. And so I used lavender mixed with coconut oil for my skin, and again, it helped.
Very, very soothing, and that's where it's interesting. Olga was just mentioning the helichrysum. There's an organic chemist named Kurt, and I think it's Schnaubelt. I'm not great with that. I guess it's a German name. But he says, and I quote, "There is probably no other oil in current circulation which so predictably and reliably heals and rejuvenates the skin like helichrysum." So, quoting this author from the medical aromatherapy healing with essential oils, I think it's great to know that this research exists.
Yeah, and actually a couple of words about poison ivy, because I know during summer quite a few people get some rash that comes with from contacting with poison ivy. So oils that can be used is lavender, melaleuca, Roman chamomile. You can actually do a compress just by adding a few drops of essential oils in the water, and then soak wash clothes in this mixture, and apply it to the area.
Yeah, and using a cool compress, maybe even putting it in your fridge to help it be cool. Remember, of course, that it's a compress. Don't use it as a scrub. You can the poison ivy around. You don't want to do that at all.
Okay, insects. This is a fun one.
It's interesting. I at one point worked up in upstate New York near Lake Placid, and they have what's called black fly season. Any of you from the area know exactly what I'm talking about, and you know that you can. They're so resistant to any insect. Lots of insect repellent to the point where it was actually making me very sick. And I tend to be quite sensitive to DEET now because I used too much, too strong, too often when I lived up there. And it was not a good thing. A lot of research on DEET, the manufacturers try to prove that, hey, it's fine. But when you look at it, keeps making a lot of recommendations about don't use it too strong, don't use it too often, because it can be very irritating and maybe more. And that's where I had tried using one of the essential oils. It's a blend called TerraShield, and I'd put a little bit on, and I'd think, okay, I'm good for the day. Well, no, no insect repellent is good for 15 hours outside as you're sweating. And so I thought, oh well, that didn't work. What was interesting is one of my colleagues who also works outdoors said, "Oh yeah, I use it. It's great." And I'm like, "Okay, so what are you doing?" He says, "Well, I just put it on every couple hours." I'm like, "Oh, okay, Paul, wake up!" Of
Yeah,
course.
yeah. So with the natural stuff, you need just to put it more often. And yeah, as Paul said, TerraShield essential oil blend from doTERRA. That's what we use often. And I went also to Russia, and we spent some time on. In Russia, we call it dacha. It's like a summer house.
Mhm.
And it is, yeah, we spend a lot of time outdoor and like working in the garden and such, and we have quite a few mosquitoes there. And I also used TerraShield essential oil blend, and it helped me, but I was applying it, yeah, like every hour. And it smells good. It is natural, and I loved it. Some people actually mix TerraShield with additional oils, and I have a very quick review. I think I have recipe to share with you.
You do.
I
It
do?
it was
Right there. Okay, so
Mhm.
what you do, just grab your TerraShield blend. You can do like 10 drops of TerraShield. Lemongrass essential oil, also 10 drops. Lavender, geranium, peppermint. So all these oils, 10 drops of each. Mix it together in a spray bottle. Add fractionated, like shake every time before use, and cover the exposed area of your skin.
Now, one of the things, of course, to be aware of, insects aren't just a nuisance. Also carry a lot of things like West Nile virus. In between mosquitoes and ticks, there's an awful lot of nastiness they can carry, and so that's why we would encourage you to also take your, keeping yourself safe with the bugs very seriously, so that you're not, you're really reducing your exposure to those diseases.
Before I actually jump into cooking with essential oils, I would like to say a few words about also hiking, because I know a lot of guys like in our area, they love hiking. Like lemongrass and deep blue essential oil blend or deep blue rub is really very helpful for sore muscles. Another thing is helichrysum is actually not only good for the skin, but it also, like if you have cuts or something, it actually help you to stop bleeding. Just apply helichrysum, and it will help you to stop bleeding if you have cuts. So it is, yeah, it is wonderful. Then like for the sunstroke, did I say it right? Sunstroke. Peppermint is great because it has this cooling effect. So you can apply it on yourself, or you can do that spray bottle with water and it around. So it is also great.
Of course, if you need medical attention,
Oh, absolutely.
if you need stitches, go get them.
Yes.
Don't use this
Yes.
instead. Or, if you have other medical concerns, please seek help. And for some of the minor scratches and different things, I know that my kind of my legs, I'll get scratches and stuff going through this, and there's some of the essential oils really help my legs to heal up much better. And I think it's okay to also use, if you have some favorite things that you put on scratches and stuff, that's fine. But I don't think it's either or. You'll notice I think these are complementary. So could I use the name brands of for ointment? Sure, and I can also use the
Correct.
doTERRA.
Yeah, there is
And it's
actually
great.
Yeah, there is a great ointment in doTERRA right now.
Mm-hmm.
It is called Correct Plus.
Mm-hmm.
And it's great that you reminded. I also had it with me in Russia last time. And what happened, because we live in a hot climate, I don't wear boots. But when I come to Russia, I needed to wear boots. And because I don't have boots, I needed to buy a new one. And so I got, how it is called? Sore?
Yeah, big sore.
Yeah, big sores actually all over my heels.
Yeah, the heel.
Yeah, on my
Mm-hmm.
on my heels. And so it was horrible, but I used I had Correct Plus with me, and actually it helped for those sores to heal better, and it gave me like that relief. And actually I have heard actually a lot of testimonials from other people about this Correct Plus.
Yeah, I've used it and I've really enjoyed it. But this hiking about, yep, you can get scratches, you can get sore muscles, again, a little too much time in the sun, and that's where finding the combination that works best for you. Certainly, I love the deep blue, but I also sometimes just peppermint on a sore muscle can be very, very soothing.
Yeah. So, cooking with essential oils. I love cooking with essential oils. I don't cook a lot of how to say warm food, heat form. So I love it mostly raw.
Yeah, lots of salads and things. Now, here's a caution. You want to be very, very careful about the quality of your essential oils if you're cooking. Anything that you're taking internally, you do not want a synthetic grade essential oil. That's basically just perfume.
Yeah.
You don't want to eat perfume. I promise.
Yeah.
That's no good.
Big no.
That's
Yes.
basically a petrochemical that they've made smell good, and you don't want that in your body. And so this is again one of the places where it's essential to be very aware, be very cognizant of the quality, both in the production, the purity, etc., of the essential oils.
So yeah, we use doTERRA when in our cooking, and my mostly used oil is lemon. I just love adding lemon into my veggie salad. Then actually right now we have this wonderful kit that I got for free from doTERRA with and how do you call it in English? Skimming? No, simming. Cumin.
Oh yeah, cumin. I mean, it smells wonderful, but
it tastes great too.
Yeah, cumin.
Cumin.
So yes. They had a wonderful special, and doTERRA often does that, where you could get these cooking, these essential oils for cooking that are so, aside from being healthy, they taste great.
Yeah. So, and also like tangerine, spearmint, dill, and how did you say it?
Cumin.
Cumin, yes. So I used it in my cooking, and I loved it. I really loved it. So yes, and I got it for free. You can't buy it, these oils in doTERRA right now, but you can get it for free, which is actually even better.
Oh, let me tell you another experience with this, which is really fun. I am not a huge fan of cilantro myself, but the people I work with were cooking up a big pot of beans and rice. And I said, well, cilantro in that. And she's like, oh yeah, I'd love to. So I said, a drop's plenty. Don't douse it. And she mixed it in and said, oh my goodness, that was just, was in heaven. Up. And so most people like cilantro. I'm a little weird with that, but and it's wonderful and it's healthy.
Yeah, and so yes, we as we said before, we use doTERRA for all our.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there are a few things you need to look at if you choose to cook with essential oils. So first of all, as Paul said, not all essential oil brands are suitable for consumption. Also, not all oils are suitable for consumption. Like, for example, you probably won't wintergreen internally.
One of the concerns with this, if you study, you'll find out that some of the essential oils are very high in salicylates, and you don't want to take a lot of that internally. So you want to be careful with taking them that way. So being aware of which ones are better for cooking and some that probably not so much.
Yeah, and also start small, because essential oils are very potent, and so 1 drop is enough. Oils such as oregano, it's actually you need even less than 1 drop. So use a toothpick to get less than 1 drop.
And then you can just kind of stir that in. Oregano is one of the oils that you could be very sensitive to, so less is more.
Yeah, and as I said in my guides, there are quite a few recipes that I use all the time because I love cooking with oils. And like oils that I use, as I said, lemon is my first choice always for cooking. Basil, I love actually adding basil in my soup when I do like hot soup during winter months.
Well, and sometimes in the summer,
Yeah,
but less often.
I use black pepper. I love black pepper, cilantro, ginger, citrus oils. Actually, all citrus oils: grapefruit, lemon, lime, orange is great. Marjoram, oregano, rosemary, thyme is also wonderful, wonderful oils. So let's talk a little bit about essential oil.
One more thought on that is a lot of times people, as they're barbecuing and stuff, like a marinade, using just a little drop of essential oil can bring out wonderful.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so just a few words about essential oil safety, what is important to know during summer months. So some of the oils, such as like citrus-based essential oils, they absorb high amounts of sun's energy, and so it creates sun sensitivity. So be very careful with applying citrus essential oils on your skin, because you actually can get sunburns because of that.
And it's they call it photosensitivity, and any of the citrus can leave you more sensitive. The one that's probably does it the most is bergamot, and it's a wonderful essential oil. But if you're going to be in the sun, you really need to be careful in using any of the citrus-based essential oils.
Yeah, so most of the research said that you need to use you need about 24 hours between you actually can go on the sun if you used citrus essential oils on your skin. As I mentioned before, I use it in my water, like wild orange or lemon with peppermint. I use it in my water and I'm fine. But again, we're all different, so just know about that. And also, as we said, essential oils are very concentrated, so 1-2 drops are enough. And always check your skin sensitivity first before you apply any essential oils.